You're welcome to sit in the front. You're welcome to sit inside. My name is Terry. I'll be hopefully able to be heard from anywhere in the boat. And as we get started moving, I do want to start talking a little bit about this beautiful city that we're in, the city of Chicago. First off, anybody here today from Chicago? We've got some Chicagoans, not too many, but some. All right. Those of you who are from Chicago, keep it to yourself when you hear me say something that's not quite right. Everybody else, I promise I'm telling the truth. Again, those of you in Chicago. Anybody know why it's called the Chicago River? Because it's in Chicago. There you go, half credit. Not full credit, it's the wrong answer, but half credit anyway. Actually, this is the Chicago River not because we're in Chicago. We're in Chicago because of the Chicago River. The river came first, the city came later, and the city really only exists because of this river that we're on right now. And you might be thinking, this is not a very impressive river. If you're not thinking that, dumped all of their waste into the Chicago River as well. And I'll let you use your imagination a little bit as to what I mean when I say the meat packers dumped their waste in the Chicago River. But suffice to say, it was pretty gross. In fact, the river at that time was completely black. It was not very liquidous. It was mostly just black sludge. And that was pretty gross on its own. But it was made even worse by the fact that that sludgy river water flowed directly into Lake Michigan, which is right in front of us. Lake Michigan was and is where Chicagoans get all of our drinking water from. Which means all of that disgusting river water was going right into our drinking water supply. And that meant that people were getting sick. Some people even died from drinking Lake Michigan water. And so the city of Chicago realized we had to do something about that. Piers is immediately to our left. It's called Municipal Pier number 2. And it was part of Daniel Byrne's original city plan at Eiffel Tower. It was going to be Eiffel Tower, Chicago, except it was going to be even bigger than the one in Paris. And the Fair Planning Committee liked that idea a lot. They said, we want to be better than Paris. If it's bigger, that's automatically better. So they were going to build an Eiffel Tower here. So the problem was a lot of Americans didn't like that idea. They said, the whole point of this World's Fair is to invite people from all over the globe to see what American innovation can be. So it doesn't make sense to hire a European architect to build our centerpiece. So instead, they took a different submission. It was from a Pennsylvania designer by the name of George Washington Ferris. And his design, not surprisingly, was a big wheel. It looked kind of like the one over there. In fact, it was bigger than the one on Navy Pier. The one on Navy Pier was designed specifically to commemorate the world's first Ferris wheel, built here in Chicago in 1893. The world's first Ferris wheel was 254 feet tall. This one is actually a little bit smaller. Those go for anywhere between $15 and $20 million. So that is one of the most exclusive places to live in the city of Chicago. That building, you may notice if you look to the top of it, it's a little bit easier to see during the daytime than it is at night. But you might be able to tell if you look to the top of that third tower, the tallest tower, there are 2 floors missing from that building. They don't exist. They're not there. That seems like a weird building design considering you could make $20 million by renting out an apartment on that floor. Seems like you wouldn't want to cut that floor out. Well, it wasn't part of the original building design.